What is up, YouTube? I'm DaVinci, leader of the Renaissance crew, and you're watching DaVinci Reacts. Today I'm going to be getting into another oversimplified video. It's been a minute. I still haven't checked out the smaller videos they have, like the War of the Falklands and the Emu War and things like that. But they do have a new one that came out, and it's called the War of the Bucket. So, judging by how some of these historical events occur, chances are it was some type of dispute over an actual bucket. I would not be surprised if that was the background for this war. Let me go ahead and give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the bucket belonged to a king or something. Don't know. That might be a small possibility. Either way, let's go ahead and check this out, see what it has to offer. Hopefully I know I'll learn something, because I never heard of the Battle of the Bucket, or the War of the Bucket anyway.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. New merch available now, including a supremely uncool t-shirt and a glorious...
This video is made by OverSimplified.
Link
there
in the
will be a link
description
for their channel at the end of this video, as well as a link to the original
Alright, folks,
video.
gather round. I've got some good news and some bad news. Did you say good news and glad news? No, I said good news and bad news.
Oh. I just want to go ahead and give out a couple more disclaimers before I continue this on. If you haven't already seen this video, go to OverSimplified's channel right now and go watch it. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. You can come back and watch the reaction. I just want to go ahead and make sure everybody knows to give them their view and things like that, because sometimes Oversimplified don't copyright their videos and they don't get the ad revenue from this video. So if you go and check them out, it's a guaranteed way that they'll be able to get what they deserve. Okay, let's continue.
And some bad news. Did you say good news and glad news? No, I said good news and bad news. Very bad news. Word on the street is there's going to be a horrible plague coming in from Central Asia in the next couple decades that'll wipe out half of Europe. What's the good news? Do you have a cure? Please say you have a cure. No. Even better. The good news is we've got a new bucket for this city well.
Hey, it worked. The War of the Bucket.
To understand the War of the Bucket, we first need to talk about this guy. He's the man with the plan, the host with the most. He's holy, lowly. He eats ravioli with the white cassock, matching pellegrina,
the one,
and the most
only,
tasteful of fringed
Holiness
facias.
the Pope.
Y'all know who I'm talking about. It's the Pope, the head of the largest religious organization in the world. But what if I told you he wasn't always the big bad boy powerhouse he's often thought as today? That's right. Throughout history, the papacy often found itself forced to wrestle against adversity and opposition to retain its authority. The earliest popes, for example, suffered under the brutal persecution of the Roman Empire, and many ended up martyred, such as Pope Clement I, who was ostensibly thrown into the sea with an anchor around his neck.
Ooh.
On the bright side, however, he's now the patron saint of fishermen. After persecution finally ended, the Pope still found himself being heavily controlled by secular kings and nobility. For over 2 centuries, the Byzantine emperor basically decided who could become Pope.
Yeah.
Then came a real low point, during what has been called the Dark Age, a period where noblewomen controlled the Pope through, how should I put it? Feminine charm. It was around here that one infamous Pope, John XII, took office. This bad boy would hold, how should I put this? Naughty no-clothes parties in the Lateran Palace. And apparently, this would even happen.
Very
Come
saintly.
on, Zeus. Give me a 6. Did I say Zeus? I meant Thor. Ra, the Egyptian sun god? Dang it, who is it we worship? Perhaps you should read this, Your Holiness. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth? Wow, this is wild. Pope John XII eventually died exactly how he lived, caught in the act by an irate husband who picked the Pope up and chucked him out the window.
Goddamn.
The point I'm trying to make here is that often the Pope was a very weak and corruptible figure and was regularly used and controlled by secular leaders as a tool to increase their own power and influence. And there was certainly an element of that in the year 800, when the Pope and the Kingdom of the Franks were good BFFs, and King of the Franks, Charlemagne, was like, hey man, being King of the Franks is nice and all, but I want more legitimacy, and also to become the continuation of the Roman Empire. So what say in return for my protection, you crown me Emperor so everyone will respect me more? Sure thing, pal. We'll hold the ceremony tomorrow. Charlemagne, King of the Franks, I hereby crown you Emperor of the West. Oh my goodness. I was not expecting this at all. What a surprise. I simply cannot accept. Oh, Okay then, I guess I'll just put this back over here. Give me that crown! Charlemagne's crowning as emperor was certainly an historic moment, but it also created a bit of an interesting problem. It set the precedent that from here on out, only the Pope could crown an emperor, but the Pope was also very much under the influence and control of Charlemagne. So who really held the power here? The Pope or the Emperor? I'm sure that this conflict won't cause anyone to die. Bishop of Freising, we want to thank you once again for visiting our wonderful city. It's been an honor. The pleasure is all mine, and what a wonderful tour it's been. I've seen the city walls, I've seen the towers, nothing could top that. Oh, couldn't it? Because we've saved the best for last. Ta-da!
A bucket!
Yes, that's very interesting. Isn't it the greatest thing you've ever seen? Well, I mean, it is just a bucket. Get him out of here! Over time, Charlemagne's position as emperor and the kingdom of the Franks gradually evolved into the Holy Roman Empire. And by now, the Pope and the Emperor weren't such good friends anymore, since neither could agree on who was the boss of who.
Like I said before, it's amazing that, like, when you think about Germany, Germany hasn't actually been, like, a country. Like, the name Germany hasn't been a thing until, like, the last, 200-some years? Germany's kind of a young country in a way.
Now, the Pope and the Emperor weren't such good friends anymore, since neither could agree on who was the boss of who. To make matters worse, the Emperor had taken to investing his own bishops and abbots. What does that mean? Well, allow me to explain. The problem for the Holy Roman Emperor was his empire wasn't really an empire, so much as a nightmarish federation made up of hundreds of counties, duchies, bishoprics, and more. The princes in charge of these local regions often didn't give the emperor their loyalty. The German nobility spent a lot of their time rebelling against the emperor, and the emperor spent a lot of his time trying to put down those rebellions. Can we get rid of them? Who? All the nobility. Get rid of them and pick new ones who are loyal to me. You can't just remove noble families from their territory. Please? Aw, okay, how about this? Some of those territories are ruled by bishops and abbots, and as Holy Roman Emperor, considered by many to be the deputy of Jesus Christ himself, perhaps you can choose who gets to become bishop and abbot. Yay! Now it's time to turn out the lights and go to sleep. Okay, I love you. Okay, good night. Say it back. And so it was. The emperor invested his own family and loyal followers into powerful church positions, and thereby was able to increase his own power and authority. Not only that, but the emperor and other nobility were also engaging in something called simony. That's when someone would come along and say, hey, I want to become a bishop and get all the personal riches that come with the position. Perhaps we could come to some kind of arrangement.
Wow.
That's right. Church positions were actually being sold to the highest bidder. And let me tell you, they probably didn't come cheap. It's gonna cost you a lot more than this. I don't think so. I've got a promo code. And speaking of promo codes, do you like free money? I know I do. I really like it. And that's why I use Honey. Honey is a free browser
I actually have
that automatically finds the best promo codes whenever you shop online. For free,
I wasn't able to get
means you always get the best deals without even trying on over 20,000 sites like Amazon, eBay,
when I get some more money, I will
and more.
use OverSimplified's
For example, here I am
promo
buying
link.
7 pizzas after a long day of animating. It's currently costing me $130. Oh,
I have
hello,
Honey as well.
You have a voucher for me, you say? All I have to do is click, you say? Nice.
I strongly recommend getting Honey.
$31.78. And all I did was click. There is absolutely no reason not to use Honey for everything you buy online. It's free and literally takes 2 clicks to install. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/oversimplified.
Yeah, that's what I need to start doing. Like, I need to become affiliates with things that things that not only do I use, but things that are popular among everybody in the community. Because like I had an affiliate thing with Amazon where I was associated with the products I'm using to record, like my microphone, my monitors and stuff like that. But a lot of people don't really buy things like that. Maybe I should become affiliated with apps and stuff that I use all the time that I actually think are useful.
That's joinhoney.com/oversimplified. And as always, by using my links, you'll be supporting my channel. So thank you. Now where were we? Oh yeah. Investing bishops and abbots, selling church positions, authority, and power. Wait a minute. This is depravity. The purpose of the church isn't for him to increase his own authority and power. It's for me to increase my own authority and power. What about Jesus, Your Holiness? What? I thought the purpose of the church was to spread the good message of Jesus Christ. How drunk are you? Very. All right, the results for the election of Chief Magistrate are in. Giovanni Kablami, 1%. Spaghetti Jeff, 2%. And the bucket, 1 trillion%. Around the year 1050, a series of reformist popes came along, and they said enough was enough. They wanted to stop the emperor from abusing the church and investing his own church officials.
As the pope always had that
How are you going to
happen.
stop me so long as I have control over who becomes pope? Remember the circular power division? If you try to stop me, I'll just depose you and pick someone else. Oh no, I've contracted tuberculosis. And just like that, the emperor was dead. His 6-year-old son, Henry IV, took over. And as we all know, child emperors equal opportunity. The church had an opening to take back control.
Watch out for those
papacy.
eunuchs.
Hey man, I hope you don't mind, but we're changing the rules so that only the church cardinals can elect the pope, and you no longer have any say in the matter. You know, if that's cool with you. I peed my pants. Okay, great talk. Then, with the position of the Pope a little more secure, he held a big meeting where he drew up a big list of all the reforms and new powers he was giving himself. And it included some pretty gnarly stuff. Okay, first, I have the power to depose emperors. Everyone cool with that? Yeah? Let's see. Only I can depose or reinstate bishops. Yeah? Alright, no one can judge me. All princes shall only kiss my feet. Only my name shall be spoken in the churches. My name is the only name in the world. Okay, I think you're done. These were all some pretty radical powers the Pope was giving himself. And with these reforms, the Pope was basically telling the Emperor, you no longer have the right to choose your own bishops and abbots. Only I can do that. When the Emperor, now a full-grown man, heard the news, he was furious. What? This is madness! Who does this guy think he is? I'm the Emperor, for goodness sake. He can't tell me what to do. I'll invest my own bishops and abbots if I want to, and this rapscallion can go right to heck! I peed my pants again! The whole conflict escalated when Henry IV went to the Pope and said, hey, guess what, sucker? You're deposed. Oh. Wait a minute. I'm the Pope.
OverSimplified's humor has gotten a lot better too over the last few episodes, or not episodes, last few videos. If you've like seen his videos early on, it didn't really have a lot of humor in it. It was more so like doing what the channel said, like just oversimplified lessons in history. Now it's like turning into an entertainment in and of itself.
Posed. Oh. Wait a minute. I'm the Pope. You can't depose me. You're deposed. Oh. Wait a minute. I'm the Emperor. You can't depose me. You're deposed. Oh.
And then just keep going in a circle.
Wait a minute. Eventually, the German princes took advantage of the situation, and they all turned against Henry. Henry was forced to apologize to the Pope, and the whole thing ended there. Except it didn't. The whole conflict, known today as the investiture controversy, would continue on for centuries as popes and emperors engaged in a power struggle over the emperor choosing his own church officials. The overall result of this conflict is very intricate and full of complexities, but in general, the Pope was able to increase his authority. Great news, Your Holiness. Your influence is on the rise throughout civilized Europe, except for this one city in northern Italy. Really? What's going on there?
I wanted to know when the bucket
emperor,
was going to come
he
in.
Found his realm thrown into further chaos and civil war, as the local princes continued to increase their own power and independence. This was most notably the case in northern Italy. Separated from the rest of the Holy Roman Empire by the Alps, the emperor's influence and control over Italy had often been questionable. In the current chaos, these Italian city-states began operating almost entirely independently. Their practical independence was further solidified when Emperor Frederick Barbarossa came down in 1176 to try to reassert his control. The cities formed an alliance, and with the Pope's support, they kicked the emperor right back to Germany. Hooray, said the Italian city-states. We did it! We're the best of friends. And then they immediately began attacking each other. Why? Well, this whole Pope versus Emperor thing, in Italy at least, had infiltrated society to its very core. Across Italy, families and cities were torn between two opposing sides. On one side, the Guelphs, who supported the Pope's cause. On the other, the Ghibellines, who supported the Emperor. These two sides struggled for control as Guelph cities battled against Ghibelline ones. As usual, personal interest played a pretty big role. as pro-Pope Guelph cities tended to be rich mercantile ones who didn't like the emperor's taxes. Emperor-supporting Ghibellines, on the other hand, were often agricultural, where the expanding papal estates were a larger threat. These cities would sometimes even switch sides depending who was in charge and their ever-changing personal interests. In some cities, brutal fighting broke out in the streets as opposing families fought for control. At times, the conflict became so tribal
over here is fighting.
that the
I think that he's
differences
just
between the two
enjoying
sides
himself.
were just downright silly. My love, I can't bear it. We must be together. But how can we? My Ghibelline family wears feathers on the left side of their caps, and your Guelph family wears them on the right. My Ghibelline family cuts fruit straight down, and your Guelph family cuts fruit crosswise. These are arbitrary differences.
She wears flowers on the left
we
side.
We can be together no matter what our families think.
Compromise.
Wonderful news. Let's make a toast to our love. I'll drink from my Ghibelline smooth goblet, and I shall drink from my Guelph chaste goblet. Get out of my sight, you dirty Pope-loving wench. Two city-states in particular that got caught in a long-standing rivalry was the Emperor supporting Modena and the Pope supporting, bucket-loving Bologna. These two cities had bad blood between them, as they had already fought against each other on a number of occasions. In 1249, the two sides took part in the Battle of Fasolta, after which the victorious Bolognese launched a live donkey into Modena to humiliate them. For decades after that, the two sides would occasionally take little day trips into each other's
Democrats
territory
get no respect.
and mess things about a bit. In the fateful year of 1325, the Bolognese went on one such trip and laid waste to some farmlands. The ruler of Modena, Passerino de Bonacolsi, was having none of it. The Bolognese had two major forts protecting their city in the southwest, so Passerino, in retaliation, decided to take an army down and lay siege to one of them. Hey, you dirty Bolognese jerks! You think you can raid our farmlands? Come out here and face me like a man! Hey man, what's up? I've just come out to let you know that there's no need to siege us because— Whoa, hey man, chill out. I'm trying to tell you— Whoa, stop doing that. I'm trying to tell you I'm actually secretly sympathetic to the Imperial cause and I want to willingly hand the fort over to you. Oh, cool, okay. Dude, what was that for? For betraying your people. And this is for joining mine. Mwah. The Bolognese were pretty unhappy to lose one of their main defensive forts, but to make matters worse, then this happened. Hey, wait a minute. Where's the bucket? Oh no, it's gone. Those Modenese must have taken it. We'll make them pay. This is unacceptable. They may take our lives. They may take our fort, but they will never take our bucket. Oh wait, here it is. I found it, guys. It's right here. Phew. Could you imagine if we started a war over that? That would have been really stupid, and there'd probably be a billion videos about it on YouTube one day. Thank goodness it never actually happened.
That's right. I just paused real quick because before he gives me the answer, I just want to just quiz people. If you don't know if it happened or not, if you know it happened, just skip ahead because I don't want you giving out the answer. But in the comment section, for those of you that don't know yet, I want to know, what do you think, whether this really happened or not? Like, was it really like this? Somebody stole a bucket and they caused an entire war over it? I mean, I would guess the bucket is tied more in line with fresh water, and I can see people going to war over access to fresh water. But, yeah, I don't know. History's just so crazy, I think that it may be possible. At this point, I don't even know if, like, he's doing a parody of history or if it's actually, like, true.
That's right. The famous story you may know about the War of the Bucket, that the war started because Modena stole Bologna's bucket, doesn't actually seem to be quite right. I was surprised to find that the bucket was likely not actually stolen at the start of the war. And at this point, I want to thank and give a big shout out to fellow history YouTuber M. Laser. He's the one guy I found who actually translated a fantastic original Italian source and then kindly allowed me to use his work in my own research. He does really well researched and in-depth videos and definitely deserves way more subscribers, so please head on over and check him out. The real reason Bologna seems to have declared war on Modena is simply that they both hated each other, supported opposing factions, the Pope had called on Guelph cities to attack Passerino, and Bologna wanted its fort back. And they were gonna get it back. Bologna had a large force, much larger than what Modena could muster up, so they felt pretty confident.
Hopefully this won't
they
be
sent
a
half their
100
force
situation.
to lay siege and take back the fort, and the other half took defensive positions to prevent the Modenese from crossing the river. The smaller Modenese force were struggling to find a place to cross, so one night they were like, "Hey guys, look out, we're attacking way up here in the north. Better move your troops." Oh, would you look at that? That was easy. And just like that, the Modenese were across the river. The Bolognese were probably expecting the Modenese to come and break their siege, but instead, the Modenese went for the second fort at Saeculum. Bologna couldn't afford to lose both of its defensive forts, so the entire Bolognese force moved to take defensive positions at Zappolino. When the Modenese arrived, it was already late in the day, and there were about 2 hours of sunlight left. In most medieval battles, at this point, both sides would set up a camp, rest for the night, and prepare for battle the next day. But the outnumbered Modenese decided the only way to win was to deal a quick, decisive blow while the Bolognese were still unorganized and unprepared. And that's exactly what they did. They charged at the Bolognese line, and the two sides engaged in fierce combat. Then the sneaky Modenese pulled what must be the most predictable, yet somehow consistently surprising move in medieval warfare. They sent the cavalry around the side and hit them from behind. Bing bang bong, the Bolognese went on the run. With casualties in the thousands, Modena had won, and the Modenese cavalry chased the Bolognese cavalry all the way back to the city. After Modena's victory, they went on a tour of the Bolognese countryside, burning some stuff down along the way. When they reached the city itself, instead of laying siege, they set up a camp and basically held a massive party for 3 days.
Just real quick, something I never really got about history and warfare. Like, I'm sure everybody have seen like war maps where one territory beats another and then like they take over part of the territory. What is stopping that? Like, what exactly are they doing to hold that territory? Because like it's usually like a small force or army or something going through, and I'm pretty sure there are people that live in that area. I'm sure there are people that are loyal to the previous owners of that area. So what's stopping like insurgency, and like how do you continue to advance forward when I'm sure you're dealing with like insurgents and stuff like that inside that area? I never really got like how some like a spot can just get taken over, the area, like the other army leaves, and it's just like that area is just solid, so you can move to the next city and that area doesn't just like flip by itself. I'm sure somebody would be able to explain it to me, but that's just something that always got to me, I guess.
Instead of laying siege, they set up a camp and basically held a massive party for 3 days. The defeated Bolognese could only sit back and watch. As the Modenese force began packing up and getting ready to leave, they noticed something. Oh my gosh. Hey, check this out. No way. Are you kidding me? They're still using traditional wells. Hey, you dumb Bolognese. Ever heard of an artesian well? You can't even get water out of the ground without using a stupid bucket. It's not a stupid bucket. It's a wonderful bucket. Yeah, whatever, bucket boy. We're taking this with us. So Modena stole Bologna's bucket and put it up on display in their cathedral, eventually moving it to the city hall, where it remains on display to this day.
Wow.
The two cities came to a peace settlement a few months later. Bologna would have to pay heavy war reparations, and in exchange, Modena would return all conquered territories. Modena kept the bucket. Despite being one of the bloodiest battles in medieval Italian history, it didn't really change anything, except now Modena had Bologna's bucket. As for the larger power struggle between the Pope and the Holy Roman Emperor, that would continue on for some time and played a part in many major events of medieval history, such as the Crusades, the Protestant Reformation, eventually leading to the general separation of church and state we see in Europe today. So there you have it. We learned about the Pope and the Holy Roman Emperor, the investiture controversy, and finally, the War of the Bucket. It's been a long day, and it's time to turn out the lights and go to sleep. Okay, I love you. Okay.
Say it back.
Good night. Say it back.
You gotta say it back. God damn it. Always have to say it back. Let's see if there's anything else at the end of this. Nope. Oh man, so that was the War of the Bucket. Thank you, OverSimplified, again for bringing us a bit of knowledge to this. Well, I don't know if it's obscure. It was obscure to me. I'm not gonna call it obscure just because I didn't know it. So maybe this is something that is pretty well like known among people that study history, or even among the general population. Maybe I'm just the one that was out of the loop. I'd never like heard of the War of the Bucket. Even in school, they never taught us anything about the War of the Bucket. Like I never heard of it. It's the first time I've ever heard of it. But like I said, because of how crazy history is, I didn't question it. Like I assumed, like, okay, they had a war. It's called the War of the Bucket. It probably was over an actual bucket. So it seems like it was a little more complicated than that based on this video. But also it seems like there's not necessarily a full-on 100% consensus as to what happened. Like it sounds like there's some confusion as to whether some things happen one way or if they happen another way, and it's kind of like how that myth about, oh, you only use 10% of your brain works. Like, a lot of people think that that's true because it's been said so much, but the truth is you actually use all of your brain. It's just that you use certain parts depending on what you're doing. Like, it's a falsehood that has been able to gain traction because enough people have said it. So what he said about how, like, the bucket was stolen and that's what started the war of the bucket, I'm guessing that's wrong, but so many people have heard that they just believe it. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know nothing about this. This is the first time I've heard about it. I'm gonna have to do some more studying into it. I will have to check out the M Laser's channel to see what he has to say about it and see what other stuff he might have. I love history YouTube channels. It seems like YouTube has a problem with them though, because all the history YouTube channels I follow have been dealing with this situation where YouTube has been demonetizing their videos. And I mean, I get that you want to stamp out like false information, fake news, and like people that are trying to glorify the bad guys in history. But yeah, like, I think that YouTube needs to start doing more manual reviews of certain videos. Like, don't just automatically demonetize. Like, at least hold it. If you're going to demonetize, at least, like, well, I don't know how you would be able to do this, but I do know that whenever somebody copyright claims your video, you can dispute it, and while it's being disputed, all the ad revenue that's collected will be given to the person that wins the dispute. I think they should do something similar to that with OverSimplified videos. Like, hold on to the ad revenue. Well, but that's the problem though, because they don't actually have ads on demonetized videos, or at least like some of the people that would normally advertise on YouTube wouldn't advertise on demonetized things. I still think the best solution for this, and at this point I'm pretty much done with the video. Like I said, I don't know enough about it, so if you want to hear me more about my intake on the video, I've already given it, so you're free to leave at this point. But just as a quick solution to the whole YouTube situation, I think what YouTube needs to do is they need to come up with something similar to the ESRB board. Like, the developer is the one that marks down all the stuff that's in the video, and then it's up to the ESRB to rate the video as far as like where it like what rating it falls under. I think that that's something similar to what they should do on YouTube. Like, oh, this video has cussing, so I'll mark cussing down. This video has sexual themes, I'll mark that down. This video has tobacco and drug use, I will mark that down. And then the advertiser, they can like mark down the stuff that they're okay with. Like, okay, well, I'm okay with cussing, I'm okay with sexual things, but then some of the more family friendly ones, like, oh, well, I don't want cussing. And so you can like filter certain ads to certain videos that they're okay with. Like, I'm pretty sure like a company that targets towards teenagers are going to be okay with cussing, whereas a company that's trying to target kids probably would have a problem with it. So you'll be able to filter stuff a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? It'll be a more complex system as opposed to a simple system of like, oh, well, either it's family friendly or it's not. This way it's like, okay, well, is it kid friendly? Okay, it might not be kid friendly, but is it teenager friendly? Okay, it might not be teenager friendly. Is it preteen friendly? Is it young adult friendly? Is it 18 plus friendly? Like, you know, it add more ratings besides just family friendly or not. Anyway, that's been my commentary. Like I said, there will be a link for OverSimplified's channel in this video, so it should pop up somewhere around here. Just click on that and it'll take you to their channel where you can subscribe to them, watch their other videos and stuff like that. There is a link for the original video in the description box down below if you want somebody else to do a reaction to the video, or if you want to watch the video in your own time without hearing me talk and pause and things like that. Go ahead and do that. Like I said, I highly encourage you to check it out so OverSimplified can get the view and they can continue to make the videos that we all enjoy. Anyway, with that being said, I'm DaVinci. You just been a little more enlightened, or at least I have. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sign out, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Deuces.